So Nintendo, they just announced a new direct presentation, which will be taking place coming up this Thursday, October the 23rd, 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, the reason this announcement surprised many gamers, including myself, is actually going to be a full hour-long presentation, which when you talk about Nintendo Direct standards, that's already quite long, but this full hour-long presentation will be dedicated exclusively to just one single title that happens to be Kirby Air Riders, which I thought we did get a brief presentation at a previous Direct talking about this title, but apparently Nintendo has bigger plans for this game, which outside of being like a first-party Nintendo Switch 2 title, I feel like it doesn't have too much interest like really going for itself. And I think Nintendo knows that, which is why they're using this full hour-long Direct to kind of maybe win some gamers over. Right, so here we have a picture of Mr. Sakurai, the legend. This image is in the late 90s, which I would say he hasn't really aged today, right? So I'm guessing he's going to be a big focus as far as this presentation. He's known, for creating classic franchises such as Super Smash Bros. You guys may have heard of that, one of Nintendo's best-selling franchises, but he also created a cute little lovable character who goes by the name of Kirby, which his titles date back from the NES, the Game Boy, all the way up to recent titles such as Kirby and the Forgotten Land featured on the Switch. So he's a legend. Kirby, I would say when you talk about first party characters for Nintendo, right? Everybody loves Mario. Zelda gets a whole lot of love, even Donkey Kong, but Kirby, he's always kind of like rode the back, right? Although he has been dropping games, like we mentioned, since the NES with constant releases throughout the years. It just always feels like Kirby kind of takes a back seat for some of these other big titles. And as far as me as a consumer, I always kind of look at Kirby, I don't want to like disrespect the franchise, but almost kind of as like budget titles, when you compare them to the likes of like a Zelda or a Mario. It doesn't feel like these are games which they should charge like the full prices for, right? So when you talk about this game, it is actually a sequel to Kirby Air Ride, which did originally release during the GameCube era. This is a game which I never played because I never owned a GameCube, right? At that time, if I was playing GameCube titles, I was probably over at like a friend's house or maybe a cousin's house or something like that. So this is one which I never played, but based off Metacritic, average score here of 61, pretty average, run-of-the-mill type of title. But as far as gamer scores, user ratings, they gave this one an 81, which leads me to believe that this is a game which over time, maybe gained a lot more respect, or it kind of has like a cult-like following, whether that's nostalgia goggles or not. So they already have a pretty interesting cult-like fan base attached to this title. I think this presentation is an opportunity for Nintendo to try to win over casual fans. Like, what's going to make somebody want to pick up a title like Kirby Air Riders, say when you have like big budget titles like a Mario Kart World available, right? Like, what's really the selling point of this presentation? So it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be locked in to see what they're talking about. But what I could tell you guys from my point of view, what would make me intrigued, make me want to actually pick up this game, is if it has like a story mode or like an adventure mode or something like that. So hear me out, right? One of the big things that kind of separated games like, say, Diddy Kong Racing on the N64 compared to Mario Kart, I would say, was the adventure mode, right? Back then, while everybody loved Mario Kart, I was more like a Diddy Kong Racing type of kid. Although nowadays, I would say they both, kind of have their strengths and weaknesses. But what really drew me in to that title back in the day was the story mode, right? Having this big open hub world, which you could explore, find secrets. It kind of gave me the feeling of like Mario 64 or titles afterwards, like Banjo-Kazooie, right? I don't know if it was just the feeling of like us getting used to these first 3D world, some semi-open world type of environments from the N64, but for me, I was absolutely in love with that. And, as an adult, we chased that nostalgic feeling. So for Kirby Air Riders to have success, at least in my eyes, I would love to see them maybe incorporate some type of like open world aspect, some type of hub world. It doesn't have to be a full open world like Mario Kart World type of thing, but just some type of hub world where we can kind of like explore, find secrets in between races and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. But as far as the 60-minute presentation, I'll definitely be tuned in coming up this Thursday. Remember, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Let me know if you guys are excited for this upcoming title. Have you played the original Kirby Air Ride from the GameCube, or are you kind of just going into this one blindfolded? Let me know what you guys think about this one down below. I'll check in with you guys, of course, to wrap up the big update. Maybe we'll give like a little review or something of the Direct. But until now, I'll catch you guys next time, man. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. JA Gaming. If you enjoyed today's update, smash the like button. Plus, if you're new here, this is a new gaming channel which I've created. That way you guys can come along, through my journey in gaming. So I appreciate everybody. Consider subscribing. I'll catch you next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Love.